Alrighty, friends. Good people of the garden. Welcome in, folks. I see them toes in chat. Notification gang here. Oh, that's wildly calm. Can we switch it up a bit? There we go. How y'all doing? Good to see you. I'm a little low in the camera today. Did you do that? Was that a you thing? Computer? What's up, everybody? Welcome to Friday. Where's my... Here we go. Welcome to Friday. Oh, and it's the first Friday of the month. Is it the first Friday of the month? Or is it the second one? It's the first Friday of the month. Yes. And, generally, this is our chance to go over the monthly reports together. And oh my word. Hold on. There we go. Software had a little problem there. Let me just start by saying this monthly report has reported. I've done a little skimming and I am very satisfied with some of the things we're seeing. It's not like, you know, they're not telling me the game's complete. But it's good stuff. It's interesting stuff. It's a lot of 4.0 information. Now that 3.23 is finally gone, we appreciate you. We do. Okay, it's not personal. Now that 3.23 is finally past us, though, we're reading about a little bit of bug fixing and some of the tightening up of that stuff. You know, we're going into 3.23.2, which we'll talk about a bit today. But now, the main dish for the first time ever in monthly reports is 4.0 content. So we're going to be going through quite a bit of that here today. You're going to read a lot of bug fixing and a lot of moving on to 4.0 and beyond content. And it's in a lot of different parts of the game. So I'm excited to go through this one with you guys. Thanks for joining me. If you're not here live with the stream, we actually do these 4 times a week. We just kind of hang out, chat, talk. Sometimes we play stuff, but a lot of talking. And I'm sure they're great after the fact, but who doesn't like a live tomato or a love tomato? So I implore you, come join us live. It's a lot of good discussion that gets cut out of the video by our lovely editor. And just in general, a good time. Thanks for being here, though. If you are here live, I see my lovely folks in chat. Flopalore, 07's buddy. Been front of the line multiple times this past week, huh? AKR, how you doing? Good to see you. Shifty, of course. Tomato hype in game, in chat. Everywhere you are. Shifty's hype. Don't do whatever I want channel. Good for you. I guess whatever you wanted was to come in live today. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. Mackie, welcome. You're planting some tomatoes today, are you actually? That's pretty cool. We had some tomatoes outside. They didn't do as well as the strawberries, but we are in a strawberry city. Currently, you're at work using these videos like an audiobook. Nice. I used to do that in my old job as well. Echo, welcome, dude. Holding it down. Holding the fire down. Holding the camp down. Cotton Candy Milkman. Good vibes. Good to see you, ex-soldier. Ellen JK. You know, I know you've been here many times. You know, we go back. I still don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry. Toes Gang misses Tomato in the chat. I miss your fishes. You should start posting those fishes again. We miss those. Trademark. Town Scott, good to see you. Welcome in. Bears Junkie. 23 Hoff. Cotton, Masex. Glass Sword, Whiskey Fish, welcome. Balrogs, Smog and Balrogs. In chat together. What? It is live, Smog. I'm going to call you Smaug, though. Just because he's Balrog. I have to. Smaug. Talus. Work's done. Heading home to the Tomato Live is premium. Dude, we've got a good experience for you today. Not only are we going through the monthly reports, you know how it is on this channel. There's going to be things in here, and we're going to dip back into the history of the development to go over them, because oh man. The best part about this year is just how much long-term stuff is starting to come to fruition. I know there's a lot of noise this year. There's a lot of things going on. The sales are plentiful, possibly too much. And there's, you know, it's the same kind of general hubbub around Star Citizen, but this year is so much different with the amount of long-term developments are actually coming to fruition. And I know we want a flashy feature, we want new missions, we want AI to work, stability, stability, stability. I am here for that. I'm totally with you. But to see the interaction system or MFDs or the cargo system or the star map or these actual the underground facility remakes, like these things that we've been hearing about and reading about for like 3+ years, some of these things 7, 8+ years, they've been not 8+ years, basically everything started at 3.0 that we're seeing updated, but 7 years and on, it's been, this is getting worked on, this is getting passed to this team, this is getting passed to that team, this is going through engineering phase, this is in design, yada 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 yada, and finally we're actually getting to see it come into the game. So these monthly reports are a bit more exciting for me, and hopefully they're at least interesting for you. Revel, this isn't live. Am I not real? Am I not real? I hope this is live, or else I'm just a simulation, which would be cool, right? Are you any guys sure that I'm not just like a programmed AI to be a content creator? And isn't that a thing? Don't they do that? You get smog from Smaug. Smaug. Only the day ones know. There's the fish. There it is. What's up, Urgent Hush? Okay, so I've been bumping it up, talking it up, saying all the good things about it. Let's get to this monthly report. Let's talk about it. Let's see what it has. As always, we're starting with AI features. The introduction looks pretty standard, talking about polishing features, squashing bugs, and progressing with a wealth of new content in 323.2, 4.0, and beyond. They could have triggered a bunch of people and just said, and 1.0 here instead of that. But no, there's more than just that. Beyond. Am I a sleeper agent? Yes. I am activated by... I was going to say media. Nobody might not know what that means. I'm activated by muscles and rice. And I don't mean human muscles. Like... just like Arnold Schwarzenegger walks in and goes, "Hey, rice," with his muscles. I am now no longer a sleeper cell. Because, never mind, it's stupid. Okay, AI features. Following the launch of Alpha 323, AI features supported the upcoming point patch and future releases. Specifically, they work towards consistent behaviors across different combat scenarios, ensuring that AI characters react in believable ways no matter what situation they are in. Like the music. The team began by improving and unifying perception reactions, improving cover use in different scenarios, and making a holistic evaluation of all combat elements to ensure they work as intended. Whew, sorry, that was a lot of words. I'm not going to get too deep into that. That's just AI combat. We've seen so much stuff about AI combat over the years, and really the only way to quantify this is just to see it in the game. I will say that AI combat's been getting better. FPS AI, they're not bad. They're not shabby. How do you define real? I would say if you can smell a fart, it's probably real. Then again, that soaring over California, that ride at California Adventure in Disneyland, they had all the smells of things. Must have been real. AI tech. Oh, sorry, no, I skipped a paragraph. This is particularly important. This is again talking about the AI improvements they were just mentioning. With the recent improvements to the hostility system. For example, if an AI comes across two others fighting and they are friendly with both, doing nothing is not a valid response. As the first pass implementation for Alpha 323, the AI will run and cower when this situation arises. Though this isn't ideal and will be improved upon for an upcoming release. What kind of... Like, that's such a... I want them to keep that in. You're having like a gun battle back and forth with somebody, and y'all are shooting at each other from two different factions. And the third guy shows up and he's like, you're both friends. I can't handle this, and just runs away. There you go. AI features, everybody. All right, AI tech. Things get a little more interesting here. Last month, AI tech supported Alpha 323 with bug fixing and optimizations. This included adding new metrics to better understand the size of Pathfinder requests on live builds, navigation tile generation requests, and the number of active NPCs and boids. Improvements were made to the functionality of NPCs pushing trolleys and using elevators alongside updates to behaviors for elevator use. Smoother animations when NPCs move away from trolleys and improved functionality for NPCs parking trolleys were implemented too. The trolleys are... see if I can find the video of this actually happening. Here we go. So this is of great importance or great concern. I'm sure this is very interesting to people who are not super interested in hauling their own cargo, loading their own ships. This is something they've been working on. We got this update last year, March last year. Just talking about how NPCs are supposed to load and unload trolleys for us, and the general animations around it. These little green shapes that you can see in the editor here are the enter and exit animation points for loading or unloading this trolley. So like, there's been a lot of programming going on behind this, and it continues. Is basically all we're reading right now. Yeah, just improved functionality with parking those trolleys, loading them, pushing them, getting into elevators. It'd be cool to see NPCs using elevators. Hopefully it's the Gravlev trolleys and not the nuclear wheeled ones. Maybe the nuclear, they'll tone it down a little bit. What's up, Toes Gang? Oh, they definitely have this kind of stuff going on in Squadron. No doubt. AI tech also began work to allow NPCs to understand when cover is being destroyed or when parts of a usable are being destroyed. This will prevent NPCs from attempting to find or use unsuitable cover. And this just, I gotta go back to the that FPS moment that they showed in the Squadron segment. I love this FPS, this whole thing, but it shows off a nice look at destructible cover. Basically right in front of the camera, which I'm sure is not why they highlighted it at all. Here we go.
Alongside our new and improved FPS radar and scanner that provides you an overview of the battlefield, but at the cost of...
So you can see immediately, like, they're really focusing on the whole cover damage thing. You guys, if you've been paying a lot of attention, they talk about Maelstrom. I think he even mentions it here.
And scanner that provides you an overview of the battlefield, but at the cost of ramping up your own emissions. We've also seen the introduction of our Maelstrom-powered destructible environment, which adds a layer of dynamism to the experience alongside our improved AI that can now have hundreds of combinations of traits that allow us to create unique and challenging combat encounters that really push your tactical awareness and skill.
All right. I'm sorry. I really like this song. Jeff Zanelli really nailed it with the soundtrack from everything I've heard so far. So that was showing off a little bit of the destructible environment. Nice to know the NPCs won't just stand there if you blow up their environment. Cool stuff. Good times. For ship AI, the team continued making improvements and fixing bugs related to following splines and backstrafing. Okay. We've gotten through AI. Good. It's important. It's kind of dry, but I think it's worth going through. Animation in May focused on work on numerous creatures, including the unreleased Kazi Grazer, the Space Cow. Infinite ammo NPCs. Nah, dude, they just backpack reloading over and over, you know? It's that invisible backpack. Hermione. Art on the character side. In May, The character art team completed the high poly phase for 2 specialist armors and continued updating the utility armor. A new heavy specialist armor began development too. This is one of those things. I'm telling you. That's not to say this is coming right now. We don't know really what this means in terms of they have worked on armor. Yay. But we can go all the way back to, I think it was CitizenCon 2019,
Because otherwise, what's the point?
where they were going on and on about how this is all going to work. This might be a little bit of a long excerpt, so I will skip through it. But there's a lot going on with armor, a lot they haven't talked about, from specializations that they're talking about there to utilitarian armor to the fact that armors are powered with batteries, all this kind of stuff. Take a listen. Here's, I think, Richard Tyrer actually talking about this back in 2019.
Different sizes of backpack, and they will only go onto different pieces of armor. So you'll have to make meaningful choices. And then you've got life.
You know what? Let me switch on over to the account that has premium.
Different pieces of armor.
And also has my sound settings.
You have to make meaningful choices. And then you've got life support, which is, how much oxygen can I carry? What's the climate control in this system? What temperature can it survive? And temperature is something I'll be going on again further on. But again, then you look at, say, for example, the next layer is subcomponents. Now, as I took through the weapons, you look at attachments. It allows you to further specialize or further diversify. That's what subcomponents are going to be. If you want to, put heavy armor on, but you want to add more armor plating, or you want, emission dampeners, or you want further utility and gadgets that we release in the future, that's where subcomponents come in. But really, that's just the armor classes themselves. That's the light, medium, and heavy armor classes. And that's kind of like just the base foundation, kind of how I was saying in the weapons, you've got your base classes. Now, where's the exotic gameplay? So that's when we're looking at, say, the classes and play styles. So we want to support the player careers. So in the PU, you want to be a miner, you want to be a bounty hunter, you want to be a fighter, you want to be an explorer. We want to support those on the ship side, but we also want to support them on the FPS side. We want you to choose equipment on the FPS that ties into what you're flying, that ties into the play style and how you want to play in the PU, because the PU's not an average game. It's a sandbox. It's Star Citizen. It's what you make it. So we want the equipment to tie into that. And so when you're looking at, say, player choice, what we did is we broke it down in between combat and utilitarian. And that's where we kind of broke down a matrix. So you can see this is kind of like all of the armors kind of in the PU at the moment are all like scattered around. But really what I wanted you to take from this screen is these 4 kind of pillars. We've got the combat fighter, the combat specialist, the utilitarian adventurer, and the utilitarian support. Now, when you look at those 4 pillars, you might be saying, well, what do they do? How do they tie in? So if you're looking at, say, combat fighters, that would have light, medium, and heavies in there. But that's the armor that you want if you're going into combat. That's the one that is the absolute specialist. That's what the military would use. It's got the most damage mitigation. It's got the most item ports for magazines. It's the most throwables, so the grenades. It's all about absolute combat powerhouse. And then you look at, say, the combat specialist. Well, that's when you're coming into where you want more niche, more special forces, more special ops. Now, they're still good at, you actually add all that together, and then you're looking at, say, the damage types that we've already talked about in the weapons. Well, everything we add to the game needs a counter, because otherwise, what's the point? So when you're looking at, say, the physical, energy, distortion, and chemical, there needs to be a counteract. So, we're going to need armor that has different resistances to provide different encounters. So if you want that combat armor, maybe that's best in class in terms of physical. But maybe in terms of the utilitarian adventurer, that's best in class in terms of energy damage or chemical, because you're going into these harsh environments. And so what we want to do is we want to have these meaningful choices where you're going to these, going to buy armor, and you're having the same decision making of going, okay, should I get that one? Well, that gives me all this stuff, and okay, maybe I'll get that one, and then you go, okay, maybe I'm going to get both. But then in the world of physicalized inventory, you're like, well, I can't just get onto the planet and have 20 armors. You're going to have to make real decisions. And that's where it really ties into the gameplay. But before I go on too long, I'll pass over to my esteemed colleague, Jeremiah, and he will continue on some of the visuals.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that was just a short look at them talking a little bit about like how much they actually do want to specialize armor and what and the stuff they want to do with it. I mean, you look at this list back here. They're talking about power, the signatures from scanning you, life support, speed you can move at, the radar, subcomponents you get. There's a lot that they want to put into armor they haven't really talked about. And the very first thing we've seen from this is the dynamic crosshair. And you know, for some people that's a huge thing. Dynamic crosshair has absolutely ruined the game. I'm sorry if that is you. Luckily, you can turn it off. But I think the main reason that they're bringing that in, yeah, it's a nice FPS feature. We definitely need it for Squadron 42, but it gives them such a nice way to start doing this in a more natural sense. And I think from here they can move into specialized armors for or helmets for FPS scanning. Things that would scan and give you a little bit more information, maybe something that's linked to bounty hunting. You could start to see armors that have a little bit of power built into them, maybe so that you can lift things that are heavier than you might be able to. I don't know. Like, there are a lot of opportunities they have in relying on armor, ships, weapons, and reputation as ways to continue to like either gate gameplay or to reward you with more gameplay rather than doing some kind of a skill system where you have to like add points to your ability to reload or something. So I like what they're doing with the armor and I can't wait to see how far they go with it. But for now, this is kind of what they've been talking about here. They got a specialist armor, they've got a utility armor, and they've got a new heavy specialist armor they're working on. Also in character art, they supported requests for the character customizer, while the hair team started work on new hairstyles for future releases. Progress was also made on new creatures. Let's talk about hairstyles though, because there were some pretty cool hairstyles back here that I am still excited to see. Yeah.
I hope you.
I'd probably rock dreads. But yeah, I definitely want to see these hairstyles come in hopefully this year. They're doing a really good job with hair. I like what we've seen so far. So this might be part of the group of stuff that they're talking about working on here. Okay. Art on the ship side, which basically is just our ship update for the month. For Alpha 323, ship art delivered the Aegis Retaliator's cargo and bomber modules, ensuring they met gold standard requirements. The Argo MPUV tractor was also completed in early May. Such a weird one, man. I don't understand why they didn't just wait for the Argo MPUV to be able to do its gosh, what is it called? Modularity. Like, why not just put a tractor beam on the existing Argo MPUV until it gets modularity and then ta-da. I don't know. Weird choice there. Aegis Retaliator modules though, that's pretty cool. I'm glad to see those are in the game. I don't usually do this, but we did release a video back in November saying this would happen. I think it was pretty obvious. It's not like it was a super hot take. But what I didn't expect was that the MPUV they showed on that same video back at CitizenCon was not, in fact, the MPUV we know getting modularity. It was a completely different ship. But the Retaliator they showed definitely was them showing us that we'd be getting modularity. And they did hint at that quite a bit. You follow the little signs, or you just listen to what John Crew says, and usually you know what's going on with ships. We might actually get night vision if we wear the proper helmet. They showed us enhanced vision and an ISC recently. Would be funny if it was limited to a certain helmet though. Can we take a moment and applaud the devs for adding hairstyles for all types of cultures? It gets glazed over, but so many games miss this mark. I'm honest, I feel like they still have quite a few different types of hairstyles to hit, but they are on they're doing a good job. Like they're working through it. Some more, I think, more hairstyles that focus on a small amount of hair. I'm not calling out bald people by any means. Just mean like, you know, the more out there hairstyles would be cool to see too. But they are doing a good job with their whole hair character customizer. I like what they're doing with it. That's it for the ships? No. That was just that one sentence. We still got more to do. Been watching you for years, finally get to catch a stream. Love your stuff. Gravedigger, thank you for dropping by a stream. That's awesome. You've been around here for years. Been following Star Citizen a while? Or just got in the last few years? Would we be able to get Deus Ex style implants? That would be cool. My friend Mackie P. Gosh, I've done a video. We've gone over that at times, but hey, you know what? You're here for a deep dive. You're here for the live stream. That's what we do. We confirm or confirm the lack of, unfortunately. Yeah, you're going to be able to get some Deus Ex style cybernetics. Let me go ahead and let me give you the look at it. But first, we have to play Deus Ex music while we're watching them because, you know, it just makes sense. Come on. There we go. Okay. So just to be clear, this is Deus Ex music, but this is concept art from Star Citizen. These are some of the cybernetics that they have posted as concept art for the directions they might go in. But they have also confirmed, you know, this is stuff that's going to be happening based on the health system. So if we go to the progress tracker, this one looks extra Deus Ex, doesn't it? God, we did ask for this. You look at actor status T2. Oh yeah, and this is if you go and get your stuff from like Grimhex or Nyx. It actually looks kind of Nyx. All right, cool. Thank you, Deus Ex. So that's some confirmation, but if you go here and you look at the actor status T2 deliverable, this is more about Death of a Spaceman kind of stuff. You'll read here, actor status T2 looks at a variety of new elements, such as hygiene, NPC status tracking. This would probably be referring to when you have NPCs as passengers or as crew. They're also going to be hungry, they need to sleep, they need to go to the bathroom, they need to keep their hygiene clean, all that kind of stuff. Multiple bites. I always thought this meant like mosquitoes. It just means food. DNA integrity, which they've talked about with Death of a Spaceman. Medical insurance, which is one of the big things we'll have to pay every time we die. One of the deterrents to not die. Cybernetic limbs and cloning. So these are the details of, this is like the best indicator, the best up-to-date indicator of what they're thinking when it comes to Death of a Spaceman and how that's going to be integrated. Medical insurance, cybernetic limbs, DNA integrity, all I think are things they'll play on. But yeah, you'll be able to get your Deus Ex on. Don't know if you can do it on purpose, but I'm sure, you know, you just shoot your leg a few times, you'll figure it out. All right. Continuing on with ships elsewhere, Lot 0 was completed for the RSI Zeus Mk2, with the team delivering a... Oh, this is why people think there'll be MK... Because, right, there's also the Zeus Mark II, but there wasn't a first Zeus. With the team delivering a significant amount of work to dramatically increase the detail in all areas of the ship. For example, lighting across the entire ship has been designed to bring out the volume and highlight details, while animation passes were done across all moving parts, with many receiving secondary motion to communicate a sense of weight. Nice. The next stage is the wear pass and completion of the ship's damage states. Material passes were also done to help unify the look and feel of new RSI ships in the future. Remember this. Everybody who's here, you're all becoming monthly report pros. Me too. Isn't it so fun to do it together? The Zeus looked like it would be finished by Invictus a couple months ago, right? At least, like, you know, that was a debate that was being had. Always add a couple months to whatever they're saying on the ship stuff, because it's never linear work. it feels like. I don't know the full story, but like you'll see a ship and it'll be like, yeah, it's lot 0, it's doing its final art. And then 3 months later, they'll be like, okay, it's getting its damage pass. And you're like, what happened in those 3 months? Sometimes they're doing other things. Sometimes they had to pass it to a gameplay team. Sometimes there's some dimension that had to be edited, so it took them a little while longer. Yeah, that would have been cool if the Zeus was here, but it's it was a little hopium. Same with the Polaris, man. People thought the Polaris was coming for Invictus. Oh boy. That would have been interesting. Can players bite each other? Multiple times, my friend. Finally, for ship art, 3 other ships entered the white box stage. Who knows like what these are? We know it's not the Legionnaire. We know it's not the Saber variant that they've talked about. We know it's not the Polaris. We know, oh God, I have a video coming out about this tomorrow. About the, oh, I am not going to show you my Google Drive homepage. How dare you? Upcoming ships. Zeus, Legionnaire, Saber, Polaris, recent variants. So that's what we're probably seeing here. Is 3 ships entered the white box stage. They confirmed everything that we know about.
Toes.
So whatever they said at Star Citizen Live just like a few weeks ago is now outdated. Because there are 3 ships entering white box stage that I don't think account for any of the ones that they mentioned. Which means the video that I'm releasing tomorrow will be releasing outdated. Love covering Star Citizen. I'm gonna have to re-record that part or something. I don't know. Yo, thanks for subscribing on YouTube, folks. Only thing that 318 brought was pain and misery. Oh, I thank God it's not true. I'm a big 318 fanboy. I don't know what to tell you. Just about to ask variants. Seems like it. Yeah, I think they're probably the variants they're talking about. Or, hey, you know what they didn't say? In Star Citizen Live recently when it came to these different ships that they're working on. Where the heck is that panel? This one. They said nothing about this. Literally, not a peep about this ship at any point, even when he talked about this specific video and he named the Argo, he named the Pulses, he named the Medivac Ursa, he named the X1s. All of these things that are on this list he talked about, right? He didn't talk about this one, actually. The Legionnaire, though, the Polaris, the Retaliator, they were all being mentioned. Sorry, that's not the Polaris. This is the Zeus, the Polaris, the Retaliator. This one and this one. Nothing. So these might also be the ships entering white box. Sorry about that microphone. These might also be the ships entering white box, but like we have just nothing to go off of, unfortunately. We'll see. We'll keep following up every month like obsessive crazy people. Okay, community team, I'm happy for you. Core gameplay. The core gameplay pillar spent May closing out tasks and bug fixing for 3.23 and 3.23.1. While part of the team focused on the final touches for the cargo feature, the majority continued working on gameplay features for 4.0 and beyond. Now we get into 4.0 talk. Let's go. In May, the core gameplay pillar completed significant amount of work on the multi-tool refactor plan for Alpha 4.0. This will provide a more streamlined experience by putting the tool's primary attachment action on the left mouse button and the secondary attachment action on the right. That's lovely. So I don't have to toggle between modes to pick things up and put them down. Ooh, or better yet, I don't have to toggle between modes to pick up a box or drag myself with the tractor beam. That's cool. Planning for the remaining multi-tool refactor work, such as an updated UI and battery consumption, were also completed. To be honest, I've never been super excited when we read that there's an updated UI coming, and I know some people don't like the new UIs that they've been showing, but golly gee, now when they say an updated UI is coming, I'm like, okay, that's fun. I wonder what it's gonna look like, because like they don't all look exactly the same anymore. Thank God. We'll get to that a little bit later with the cargo UI here. All right. For biome accumulation, the team completed further Squadron 42 porting work and scoped out how the feature will integrate into the weather system. You guys want to know the last time I remember seeing the biome accumulation feature? I don't even know if this is actually the biome accumulation feature, but I'm pretty sure they wanted it to look like it was when this happened. It's way back here. What is that, 5 years ago now? It's a half a freaking decade ago. Oh my gosh, that blows my little tomatillos. All right, so if we go to the adventure, what is it? Continues, I think it was.
Just going away in the background.
Whoop. It's the last time we were watching this video. Here we are. So like you'll see it a little bit here as he's supposedly escaping this outpost.
So
the idea is that like every building or base or vehicle or ship, as it's landed in a place or as it goes to a place and spends time in that place, it gets built up that biome accumulation. It's pretty straightforward. Tomato, God. This would be obviously very cool though if you are, let's say you're in a 400i that's made with a silver paint that looks suspiciously like the Naboo ship from Star Wars Episode 1. And you always go to Daymar. Wouldn't it be cool to show up at ArcCorp and like people can see that it's this dusty gold color because you've been on this desert moon for a couple of days? That kind of stuff's cool. Here in this video, you can kind of see it happening on the inside of the door. So if you look here, as you get closer to this airlock, gosh, they used to upload in 1080. You can see that like around the inside of the door, it's all cold. Now this might be in the game right now. I'm not sure, but I do think that this is also part of biome accumulation they want to do. You can just barely see it over here.
And it's a lot more than just that, but it's non-lethal takedowns. You'll be able to fight to knock people out.
But ultimately,
get into fisticuffs. There's a whole sort of different levels of punch, left, right, block, left, right. It's all actually physically made.
This is where they actually have talked about this happening on ships. This is like the literal. This is 2022. They were talking about this feature. Check it out.
So I tried to come up with a solution, and then I put together a presentation. Because before we decide to work on a feature of any kind, it is important to make certain we're all on the same page. So today, I'm going to share with you some of those ideas from the presentation I recently gave to CR and other directors before any of the work had started. Now, disclaimer, Jared said you'd find it interesting. So if it's not, blame him. So for those of you who don't know, biome is weather, and accumulation is the effect that weather has on the materials. So
this is not sped up. This is real time of somebody waiting for the next Star Citizen update.
A character walks into a biome, that character's shader will reflect the weather. Simply put, if you walk out in the rain, you're gonna get wet. Right now, when you play the game, there's only a single texture handling all accumulation effects per asset. So my pitch to Chris was, let's make it procedural. How we did this was we used Substance Designer to automate any textures needed for any biome required. This alleviated all labor off the artists. So look, when you have a bunch of people creating the same thing, you're going to have different results. Because we all see things differently, doing this procedurally solves the visual inconsistencies of biome accumulation. And of course, with graphic support, it's going to be even better.
Honestly, it's really small. As far as features go in this game, not only the consequence it has or the effect it has on you, but like the significance it has and even the visual of the game. Not that big, but it is those little details that I think those are the things that people really appreciate about a game. Obviously, as you know, as mentioned in chat, people want to see other stuff worked on before these things. But once the whole project comes together, once it all fits together, whether that's 2 years from now or 8 years from now, those are the things that people see and are like, they really put time into this. Like they wanted you to notice the small things. That's one of the things you hear all the time about a game like Red Dead Redemption 2 is like, that doesn't change the game that much for me, but it makes it more worth paying attention to the game. I think that's nice, especially when we're going to be going to dozens of different planets with all these different biomes and weather patterns. Like it makes sense to highlight the difference between those things. So cool to see that we're getting worked on. Obviously, Squadron 42 work coming over. Captain Nemo, yo, thank you for the sub. Keep the juice coming. Ah, dude, the Prime sub too. Much love over on Twitch. Are you by any chance related to the Nemo in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen? You've been guilty of leaving your ship out and not repairing it just to get the grime and wear. Yeah, this is also something that'll happen on ships. All right, Charge and Drain also continued through pre-production and will now utilize the resource network, support multiplayer, and the ability to charge and drain distortion damage from ship components. Charge and Drain, this is like this is a sleeper. They haven't really talked too much about this. I can tell you from my own experience, Charge and Drain we just don't know much about that. I mean, maybe I missed stuff, but I don't think they've ever covered it on an ISC or anything like that. This is a big part of resource management that they haven't made us privy to. So that's exciting. Toter Kenny, dude. Toter Kenny literally just I love you, man. You've been here since the beginning. Coming in here dropping subs, 2 subs over on Twitch. Thank you. I hope you're having a good week. Yeah, you can drain distortion damage, which is pretty cool. Astropub. Hello, friend. But it also, do you think this is going to be related to batteries? Because it sounded like they want this to also be, are they going to start including batteries in power supplies and outposts for maintenance missions where you have to charge and drain that kind of stuff? Sabotage missions where you're draining stuff. Maintenance missions where you're charging stuff. Do I think that Star Citizen might get too complex or over-engineered to the point where people just don't have fun and it becomes too micromanagey? I don't. No. I think it will be that way for some people, but every game's that way for some people, right? Like, Civilization 6 is too complex and over-engineered for some people. And those people, maybe you'd point them towards a more casual 4X game. Or maybe EU5. EU5? Yeah, EU5 is like really over-engineered and complex, but a lot of people find it really fun. I think for a good amount of the community, Star Citizen will feel too complex, and maybe people won't want to play it. But there's also the choice, and this is a nice part of the game, of just not getting into that complex gameplay. Like, if you don't want to deal with the fact that your ship might have to deal with VTOL, and you might get wear and tear, and atmosphere might make you die because you want to just not wear a helmet, then you stay on one planet that has just atmosphere. Or you only stay in space, so you don't have to go in atmosphere. Like, you make those choices to avoid that more complex stuff you're not looking for. Citizen Con had the demo of them repairing the tanks at Orison. They talk about that here, actually. That exact thing. Good call. Trying to teach your friends Civ 6 is a 30-hour process. EU5 and Crusader Kings are too much. EU5 was fun for me for like a week. Mrs. Tomato probably remembers. I grabbed that game, I obsessed over it for like 3 nights, and then I was like, okay, back to Civ. This is a bit much. Some game loops will be more complex than others, yeah. You can only get so complex with picking up trash, right? Quantum travel is currently being reviewed to assess any aspects that need to be made server meshing compatible beyond issues observed during tech preview tests. For anybody who doesn't know how quantum travel is going to work, it's getting a pretty significant change. It'll be a little bit more interactive, at least at the beginning of quantum travel. But the big deal of it is not actually the quantum travel itself. It's what they're now calling quantum boost. And this is finally our ability. So I'll show you here first quantum travel, which shows the initial part where you have to line up your ship, get it confirmed, and then you're sitting on your quantum line, I guess. And then you'll get to see quantum boost, which is basically free-form quantum travel in any direction you want. Which, God, we've not had that since... Hold on, can anybody guess? Can anybody guess how many years it's been since we've had that? How long has it been that the system they're replacing right now has been in place to suddenly switch things out? Come on, if you've been paying attention, you know the number, because I keep saying it for just about everything that happens this year. We've almost got it. Been a lot of complaining about the new load your own cargo from the elevator gameplay. Yeah, and we knew that was coming. There it is. There it is. 7 years. Just like everything else this year. 7 years since we've been able to quantum travel in whatever direction we want. Yeah, Astropub's got it. Of course.
You're just tumbling, right?
Now,
So
finally.
and this is not just like dependent on your skills. If you think selecting a proper quantum drive doesn't matter in the future, think again. You want to take care of your quantum drive. You want to repair it and keep it in good shape. So if you buy a cheap one, your travel will not necessarily be faster, but it might be harder. Okay, so Brent showed how it's done properly. The bubble is locked. You can now go hands off.
All right, so this is basic quantum travel. We know this pretty well. Looks nice, though. Cool effects.
Okay, so there's a second variant of quantum travel, and this is for short-range jumps. Sometimes you jump somewhere or you go somewhere.
All right, so this is the key to exploration gameplay, I think, in Star Citizen. If you even go to the staggered development talk they had with Chris and Richard Tyrer, when they were showing this stuff off. Wait, no, it's not staggered. Sorry, I'm getting their buzzwords mixed up. Partnered development. Here we go. And you go to this where they were showing off the quantum boost feature. Man, I don't even know.
We have obviously the red where it's like there's
Here we go. So check this out. Look at
the quantum boost clip.
we never really get to see this sort of mid-distance scan in this game until this. They show off this scan,
so just to call out, that's going to be the old HUD.
Yeah,
That is the altar.
and then you get these like
next old HUD.
points of
Earlier on,
interest.
showing the old
These are all like tens of kilometers, I think, or maybe tens of thousands of kilometers away, which we don't really get access to right now.
So we've done a scan here. That's also the old point of interest, because the point of interest will be just points.
Yeah.
But basically, we've done a scan. We've got some points of interest that are multiple 10Ks away.
And you can see the distance there. It says 13,000 kilometers on the right-hand side. So this is obviously just placeholder UI for the quantum boost.
And
Again, you can just boost over that.
So like you getting the gist of it. This is, I think, the first time they've ever shown us this real exploration gameplay. The idea that you are scanning from a single point, calling out points of interest that are 13, 50, however many thousands of kilometers away, maybe scanning further or tightening your scan on that point to get more detail, and then eventually freeform jumping there using this new quantum boost that clearly they have meant for this mid-distance exploration where you're jumping to a location that's kind of sure but maybe doesn't have a quantum marker. All of this feels like they're really starting to low-key shift towards that exploration gameplay we've been looking for. That's what makes me most excited about Quantum Boost, and that's why I think that's the best part of Master Modes in general.
Somewhere, and you see the next point of interest is like 1,200 kilometers away. We're not going to force you anymore to travel that by hand. You will use a technique called quantum boosting. It's a quantum-based short-range jump for like something between a couple of hundred kilometers to like 30,000 kilometers or so. When you use quantum boosting, the process is practically the same, but the quantum bubble will not stabilize itself, so you need to be hands-on for the whole time, and the speeds are naturally, well, slower, but it's not slow, it's still quantum traveling, right? Okay, so Brent, can you boost to, oh, reinforcement needed. Yeah, let's go there, let's boost. Oh, actually, sorry. Thank you. Okay, so what Brent is currently showing here is, I think I forgot to mention, quantum boosting works in every direction. You don't need nav points.
Yeah, that was great. That was good times. Come on, Jungle Juice. Don't set me up for the easy ones like that, man. You can't do that. Don't do it. That's almost as easy as... As always, we won't see stuff like this for years. I'll tell you what. If you come back to this stream at the end of the year and we don't have any change to Quantum Boost, I will personally record a video saying you're absolutely right. We never see anything for years. Because like we've already seen more than half the stuff at the CitizenCon in the game. That just wouldn't even make sense. Quantum boosting will severely hinder pirating, good or bad depending on what side you are on. Maybe, depends on how big you can make an interdiction field. If you can make an interdiction field cover a couple thousand kilometers, quantum boosting you might actually start getting people pretty often if you know where to go. Might have believed that before 323. Yeah, but that's what I mean. That's commentary that's years outdated at this point. Well, maybe not years, a year. But like they're clearly more in a state, and I think this is probably true since CitizenCon 2023. No, sorry, 2022. They're more interested in showing us stuff they're actually working on now, as opposed to conceptual stuff or design stuff. Some of it still, like the base building, yeah, they were getting a little ahead of themselves there, but like as far as stuff from CitizenCon that we've seen so far, I actually haven't updated my graph too much over the last few months. But this is all of the stuff that was shown at CitizenCon, right? You're telling me none of this stuff's in the game, but I'm tracking a lot of it already getting in here. And I'm not even keeping up with it that well. God, I haven't even looked at ships. So I'd say they're doing better than they used to, for sure. All right. Support for the Arena Commander's engineering mode was provided to allow items to be repaired once they reached 0 health. That's good. 0 health ain't great. May also saw the core gameplay pillar improving various profiling tools that assess the performance of characters, vehicles, and interactable entities. This will provide more and better quality data. Locomotion improvements for NPCs performing sharp turns were completed, which will allow characters and creatures to switch direction more smoothly. Those sharp turns. Work required to adapt the inventory system to server meshing was scoped out, as it will require a rework of its backend to scale appropriately. The initial version of jump drive failure events was implemented in May. Now when a ship's jump drive is disabled or damaged, the player will be forced out of the tunnel, which correctly aligns. Did Astropub get a shout out? Jeemus. I feel like Thanos. I'll do it. Give that man a... Oh. There we go, dude. Thanks for dropping by, chat. I was just thinking because I read this about jump drive failures, and I was just listening to some Astropub lore yesterday where there was a jump drive failure. Reminded me. Anyways, further improvements to the debug tools for jump point gameplay were implemented. I don't know what the heck jump gate gameplay is going to look like, but it sounds pretty cool. For engineering gameplay, the team implemented power pools, which will allow the streamlined power management of grouped items like weapons and thrusters. The resource network was enabled by default in the main Star Citizen development branch, which ensures all teams can now work with it and integrate their features or content with it. That means... Oh, I'm pumped. That means that the mission team can start to build resource network stuff into their missions. Not only that, that means they don't even have to do just engineering missions. That means that they can put this into... Hell, the 890 jump mission could use engineering resource network. You could be tasked with turning the lights off or something to distract the people who are taking over the ship. I don't know. Basically just means it's no longer a feature in development. Now it's a feature that can be used for the rest of the game, which is pretty cool. Doesn't mean we'll see it in the next patch though. For the transit, the team continued general release support for Alpha 323 and the upcoming cargo and personal hangar update. Scope, technical, and planning discussions concluded for the transit refactor, which is now in active development. The old double shout out. He deserves it though. Yeah, vent the rooms with the bad guys in it. Sure. Or the Black Kite mission. Isn't that like a broken down reclaimer? Maybe they have something going on there. Estimates and scheduling were completed for the remaining radar and scanning tasks, including deliverable targets. Team members supporting the patch release concluded their work and moved to support radar and scanning. I'm going to show you guys radar and scanning. This is another slightly controversial one for some people. Somebody asked for sing mode, so now I'm singing to you, to the song in the background. 'Cause chat is like that. So just looking at. Weaponry.
You need to take it.
Looking for scanning and radar.
I'm desperately begging you. There's a link in the description.
Hate it when I freaking hate it when I watch on this account.
Pieces of armor.
Okay, let's fight the bad guys. There you can see our new explosives marker, designed to help you spot deadly grenades, mines, and missiles more easily.
There's your scanning and radar feature, highlighting
Marker,
Chase
designed to help you spot deadly
Duggan.
grenades, mines, and missiles more easily.
Chase Dugan. Okay, so that was a minute, thank God. So that was the thing about this that has people a little bit concerned is that it basically gives you a live, real-time readout of what somebody's doing behind a wall, essentially wall hacks. Kind of like how they're treating death, we don't know exactly what the deterrents to this are going to be. So I'm waiting to probably, I'm hoping this quarter we're going to hear more in depth how this system's going to work, because it's, you know, obviously they can't make it too easy to where everybody's just watching each other through walls. We'll see how they balance this feature, but this is something that has people a little bit concerned. Also, it has me very excited because not just people, this is going to help people identify objectives, interactable items, and other things like that. Yeah, there is a cooldown. Thank God. That'd be crazy if there wasn't.
You do it? Okay. Golden Bone.
There is a cooldown. So like when you can see when he scans, up above.
Marker, designed to help you spot deadly grenades, mines, and missiles more easily.
So he just charged it, and that little yellow bar is the cooldown. That's a little bit fast, depending on how far you charge it, obviously. So he just charged it, little yellow bar, he let it go. Didn't really work very well, so you have to charge it a little bit more, it seems like. See if he does that. There he goes, charged it a little bit. So, yeah, there'll be some ways that they do it, and there's definitely a cooldown and all that jazz, and it lights you up as well. So when you charge and scan like that, other people can see you without charging. So technically, you're giving them an edge, especially if you're wearing cloaking armor. Ooh, they're screwed. That's actually a really nice deterrent. Okay. And where were we with that? Work was done on the objects of interest mechanic, which will allow designers to set up objects within the PU or Squadron 42 with various parameters and special scan highlight. A special material was also applied with an object when an object is occluded so that it shows one material when within sight and another when obstructed. The team also added a fading effect for highlighted objects based on distance. This is all like this is a really good feature. Again, I think this is part of that stealthy building of exploration gameplay that we're seeing being done. This just continues to happen sort of under our noses, and they don't call it exploration gameplay. But when you're out and about in some cave, or you've gone to some alien ruin, or wherever you get to the point that you've scanned down and found out that you're in some kind of place nobody else has been, you have to use this feature to identify the things that are really interesting. So these are the key elements of exploration that it's really cool to see them finally developing. Additionally, work was done on including organization information in FPS scan data, while new sound effects was added when attempting to ping while the ability is on cooldown. The team also completed checks between the PU and Squadron 42 streams, raising differences so the team can continue to port features from Squadron 42. I really hope this is something that comes with 4.0. Finally, for radar and scanning, the team activated FPS radar and other experimental radar features across Arena Commander. These systems will be assessed closer to the release of Alpha 4.0 for a potential preview via Arena Commander. That'd be great. Yo, Stream Elements, I see you dropping that sock link. Somebody did get the socks recently, okay? I want to hear what you have to say about them, because, like I said, I've only had good times, and I know I'm biased. You would take the waiting queue any day if it means we are closer to whatever 1.0 would be. Well, hopefully they have server meshing working. Taryn, thank you for the pizza biddies today, dude. Happy Friday. Appreciate you, man. Taryn's also been here just forever, funding our pizza. Funding our pizza and honestly, many of our meals. Thank you so much for your support, man. Appreciate it. These bits literally will pay for a dinner. Just in time to give you pizza biddies for the weekend. A good weekend dinner, too. For Arena Commander, the team concluded work on the first version of custom lobbies, which went live in Alpha 3.23. Alongside general bug fixing, they also added team assignments, allowing players to arrange their teams in the lobby before entering the game. Support was also provided for the Gravlev race leaderboards. Initial work was completed on the first pass of a new EVA-only map for FPS game modes, with playtests scheduled for the coming weeks. Additionally, the team began marking up all Arena Commander locations with the room system so they're compatible with radar. The Good Doctor was completed, with the rest expected to be finished in the coming weeks. The new front-end style was fully approved and began implementation. Polish was complete on new animations, and the first example of a brand takeover was approved using Drake. This will be used to guide the teams in creating more takeover designs for future events. 2 new strike teams were created to focus on 2 new modes, one of which is FPS Horde. Oh my god. For FPS Horde mode, the game mode and initial setup were completed alongside the deliverable scope, discussion, and task breakdown. The primary goal of this mode is to provide developers with a fast, easy, and reliable way to iterate on the development of spawn closets, creature and human AI, and FPS radar. The team will assess the game mode closer to 4.0 on the feasibility of introducing it as publicly playable experimental mode. Horde mode, oh boy! I I still remember how absolutely amazing it was when that launched on Gears of War. I don't know if Gears was the first game to do it, but it's definitely the one I remember most significantly. And I think it was the one that chose Horde mode as their name. And I love that this is coming to Star Citizen, Arena Commander. And I gotta say, because there are a lot of people saying that CIG, giving them, I think, crap they didn't deserve last year when CIG said that they were, or I think it was actually early this year, when they said that they had gotten the game Arena Commander into a place they liked and they were going to still do development on it but kind of focus on other places. And people just took that and said they're just stopping Arena Commander. They've killed it. It's not going to get any more development. And this is a ton of work still going into it. I would argue this is even more work than they let on with their own messaging, but they were very clear that they were going to keep working on it. And I think, I hope that they didn't get discouraged by the amount of people who were just saying like they kind of were abandoning it. I'm glad they're doing all this stuff with it, because I think Arena Commander is going to be an obvious place to point people when they get into Star Citizen and it takes too long. It's a little too complicated. I just want to get in the game and play and have some fun, flash of perception, shoot some people. Arena Commander should be there for them. The True Sneak and Puchish, thank you both for the sub. Puchish been here for 9 months now. A little Twitch Tomatillo. True Sneak, thank you for the first month sub with Prime. Much love. Additionally, the team worked on several quality of life initiatives for developers, including new vehicle control manager debugging. They also added dummy players to Arena Commander, which allowed developers to test scenarios with actors that mimic players. We're not dummies. For example, this was first used to... Yeah, we are. This was first used to reproduce issues with team balancing and the scoreboard UI when high number of players connected. Previously, this would have required either multiple developers or multiple clients. That's nice. Those freaking team balancing, it's just not good. Finally, the team resolved a major issue with team balancing and spawning for Alpha 323.2 and assisted in the resolution of a critical issue with analytics, including the creation of a new gameplay analytics dashboard. I honestly, I would 100% be behind it, a move for them to release Arena Commander as its own free-to-play game on Steam. I think that would be, of course they want to stick to their own engine or their own launcher. And yeah, you know, more power to you, CIG. It makes sense, and I'm sure there are a lot of technical reasons to do that. But man, if Arena Commander got to the point where it could compete with the Battlefield in terms of stability, spaceships, tanks, buggies, medical areas, like combined arms gameplay, it's basically Battlefield 2142 with expanded scope if it worked well. That would be amazing if it was free to play on Steam. That would I think that would take off. But it depends on how good it actually plays. Further progress was made on the mission system refactor, including their implementation of the contract generator, the querying of active and completed missions from the mission service, and a rework of the mission sharing flow. The team also updated mission entities to support streaming and refactored the mission system to use both the mission broker and contract template systems. The data structures required to refactor missions were provided to the mission design and content teams too. I want to say the last time we got a significant mission system refactor, you guys are going to hate me for this. Pretty sure it was 3.0. 7 years ago. Yet again. And that's because I think this whole time, just like with the transit system, and if we had the time, I would go back to the monthly reports back in 2020, 2021, where you could find them talking about how they wanted to rework the transit system to work with server meshing. Just like with that, I think the mission system was definitely waiting for the backend to actually work. And that's why we've just been stuck with a terrible mission system where they're just flaky. Sometimes they don't work. They don't spawn correctly. Yada, yada, yada. All these problems. Like the star map. I think they were waiting for the prime time to update that. So I am very hopeful. And I think I will also hold them to it that the mission system works a lot better after server meshing is in. I don't even know if I could find, let's see, shop item kiosks, show of character, props, info, sound of science. Just gotta find something where they would show. This is the anniversary, Citizen Con. Maybe Gamescom that year?
That wasn't in 2.
Here we go. Found the contract manager. Pretty much the same one we have now, right? Just a little smaller because it's on the old mobiGlas.
6, which is important because now we have persistent missing literally different.
So just to give you an idea of how long we've been working with, like, and you can see the mobiGlas here too. This is literally, if you joined a year ago, you would see the same mobiGlas, some slight tweaks with how big it is and the actual size of the menu. You'd see the same one as if you had joined back in 2018. And that's like how old these systems were. That's how long it took. Games have come and died in that time. And you can see here that the contract manager was pretty much the same as well. They just didn't want to change these things until they were in a place where the game engine that they were building for it all could actually support it. So I am personally expecting something pretty good with this rework. Not to say it'll be good in front of our eyes, but good in terms of stability at least. All right, so further support was given to mission design for the updated delivery contract system that interacts with the upcoming freight elevators too. Here we go with that. This is the UI for the freight elevator. I like it because it's not blue. But our graphics guy, Cass, he actually remade this with a text version. Hold on, I can find it. And I love it. I like this UI. I like that it's got colored denotation between the different locations. It's very clearly labeled much better. They've clearly got better filters and options for filtering, some quality of life options like expanding the window. Overall, this looks like a pretty nice, clean, and easy way to move stuff back and forth. I'm hoping clicking this and clicking move to elevator just is immediate. It doesn't take you to another screen. The more stuff happens on just this screen, the better in my opinion. But if we go to this post he made, so this is the one that they made, but he redesigned it with text, and I really enjoy it. I would enjoy at least the option for it. Because text at sometimes it is easier. Sometimes this is easier, but you don't always know exactly what you're looking at. I'm assuming though, if you mouse over it, it will give you like the name and stuff. We just got to see this thing in motion and in action. But overall, I think it looks good. It's more of their inventory systems. They're getting there. They're getting better. Does the contract manager keep contract between logging in and out? Well, it does right now. Oh, you mean like active missions? They want to do that. They said they want to do that. I don't know if the new one will. Search would be nice. Search would be very nice. Yeah, I don't see that here. Good call. Gameplay features continued with the closeout of freight elevators, storage access kiosks, instanced and personal hangars, and commodity trading updates. Keep in mind, this is a feature that was shown at CitizenCon. The UI flow is currently being updated to provide a more streamlined experience when managing the warehouse inventory and moving items via the freight elevator. Items like weapons, armor, and furniture can now be brought up too. Put my couch in my Connie. Yeah, no more magic inventory. This is gonna be a big change. I have a video coming out about this probably within a couple hours of this stream ending. It's the new feature watch. It was supposed to be out yesterday. You guys know how it goes. Every Thursday we talk about something from the previous week. This was just confirmed for 323.2, so I gave a little update on how it works. And then once I can get in and actually test it, I'll do a main tomato talk on it to give the full look. Stacks of items can now be split in the storage access and freight elevator kiosk UI, and filters for item categories were implemented. Yippee. Economy team last month, the effort versus reward algorithm was documented, which enabled the economy team to determine the technicalities of implementing the mission system refactor. Interworking between teams. Yay. Good job, guys. Once live, mission like very simple tasks. Check. Once live, mission rewards will be based on time and difficulty to complete. Part of this involved establishing sensible time estimates for hauling missions and finalizing the reward balance for the Kopion and Merok missions. We talked about this a lot over the last year or so, because they've mentioned that they want it to be, you're not taking a box across the system and you don't even make enough money to pay for gas. This is good. It would have been nice if this was in 323 when they rebalanced all the ship prices, but we do know that this is coming up. We've talked about the economy on the Tomato Talks on the main channel. We've done it on streams. We've seen some on the reports. At some point, we will be getting better payments for our missions, and hopefully that comes with the mission system refactor. A design for the refactor of the shop system is underway that will provide more flexibility for trading commodities and item shopping. Progress was also made on an algorithm to determine the base price of commodities. That's good. It's good that they're making that procedural. I wonder, like, it's interesting that they don't mention quantum when they're talking about that. An algorithm to determine the base price of commodities sounds pretty quantum-like. You're a bit confused as to the small container those things are in. Can't be a 2 SCU container. Wondering if it's a big container we saw, and the small is something like 16. You seen that up here? Small container. Huh. Yeah, this stuff isn't going in the small container. This is the 500 SCU he must be seeing here, right? Honestly, I don't know. Oh, they're planning the dynamic one. It's just... But it is weird they're not talking about it here. Algorithm makes it easy, I guess, until it's ready to be dynamic. I don't know. Last month, liquid carrying cargo containers were worked on, with all sizes moving from white box to final. I wonder if you'll be able to hear the sloshing liquids in this. Quantum is dead? Can confirm Quantum is not dead. I made a pretty long video about it and heard from multiple people that it's still a thing after that. Tony Z himself confirmed that it is still a thing. Oh. I think Richard Tyrer said it's still a thing, but he doesn't like the name of it. Maybe a weird question, but have they considered bringing someone working in shipping on board as an advisor regarding cargo, seeing as it's such a big part of the game? Actually, the person who built the cargo loading wrote an entire thesis on loading cargo. Not necessarily doesn't necessarily work in shipping, but definitely studied quite a bit of it. And I'm guessing they're consulting with people. Yeah, Tony's still alive. Some folks from our community met up with him a couple weeks ago. Talked to him a bit. Don't you need like actual tankers to carry liquids in meaningful amounts? What good is anything if you can pack it in a Ford Fiesta? Hey man, maybe you got a liquid that's only used in milliliters, right? Microtech has some new experimental processor that uses a specific type of coolant liquid. Yeah, I don't know. Dropping off some water to a outpost or something like this. You do it for free as a side gig. Honestly, that's the hard part. If they asked people to just come in and do it for free, they'd probably get too many people. But yeah, I think they probably consult with folks. There's a lot of consultation that goes on in the industry for stuff like this to make sure you're getting the right, the right feel. And a lot of it gets lost in the gamification of it all, but they do a decent job, I think, with building in some interesting complications. Okay. A destructible generator was also made for search and destroy missions. The devs are currently working up to final with separate pieces that will detach upon destruction. Props. Props are huge because there's so much stuff around all the locations that you can't interact with. I'd like to see more of that be interactable. Lighting spent time finalizing work on instanced hangars. Once complete, they kicked off new content for Alpha 4.0. They also began the look dev stage on a new cave archetype. Please be ice. Please be ice. Please be ice. That would be really cool. May saw the landing zone team fixing bugs for instance hangars before moving on to... I just read that? No. Moving on to mandates for Alpha 4.0. Man, lighting... Okay, literally, lighting was spent time finalizing work on instance hangars, kicked off new content for 4.0. Locations. Saw the landing zone team fixing bugs for instance hangars, moving on to end mandates for 4.0. Like, these people are step in line. They included crafting the remaining stations for Pyro, the landing zone team, and the organics team continued iterating on new biomes. No talk about Vulcan? We haven't gotten to the engine section. Oh wait, there is no engine section, huh? No talk about Vulcan. Maybe up here in R&D. Throughout May, Mission Design continued working on cargo missions, specifically polishing the abandon flow. This is used when a player decides they no longer want to play the mission. For example, if they have already picked up a load, the contract will give them an allotted time to deliver it to a closer location and take less of a reputation hit. If the player doesn't deliver the cargo in the allotted time, it will be marked as stolen. That's really cool. But I guess that's part of designing the mission. You have to come up with what happens if a player does this. I never even thought of that. Like, what if a player just doesn't want to finish the cargo? I literally would be like, well, make security go kill them. Y'all being a little kinder than me. And that's good because some players are going to get into a cargo mission. That mission might have you running across 3 different systems, and it turns out after the first system, you don't have time. Nice to be able to drop it off somewhere else, take a bit of a hit, but at least you're out scot-free. Scot-free? James-free. No James on board. Future content plans are underway. Hold on. Planning was also done for the mission system refactor, which is required for server meshing. This will also bring the processes and pipelines used by the team up to date to ensure everything is aligned with the current standards. Future content plans are underway with some actively being built. Mission design also aligned with tech design on their deliverables to see if more of their upcoming gameplay can be utilized. Pyro-based repair missions are being actively designed. These involve replacing components, containing radiation, and power management via charge and drain. I think Astropub had mentioned this. There we go. This is the first monthly report confirmation of resource management in ground locations. They've talked about it and hinted at it, and we know that resource management is going to be used in all of the different places. But they have not really talked about us actually doing those things at outposts. The amount of things that this could open up for us, of every single outpost having a power system that components can go out of power. Components can be destroyed. They can be damaged. They can need to be charged. Maybe you have a sabotage mission where you go into an outpost and do this. And then you add that to space stations. And then you make those localized missions that you can do multiple of them in a row at the same location. Maybe you get to a town, you land, and the mission giver is like, hey, we're not getting communications. We got a tower up on the hill, but it won't work. That's like a super basic mission. That's some Ubisoft crap. But getting those kinds of missions is what fills out these locations with more stuff. The first sign of this was from... Navigating the Universe. Oh, we're on the wrong account again. Look at that. Something like this.
If we were in space, we could use a salvage and repair ship. Luckily, the UEE have some advanced portable tech. Bone, please equip the military multi-tool. The military multi-tool from Squadron 42 has various modes, one of which gives us the ability to salvage and repair while on foot. Okay, Bone, let's use the multi-tool to repair that pipe. Okay. Right, we can see at the bottom left of the screen, the radiation levels are decreasing. So let's head into the scene. Go on, Bone. Let's walk forwards a bit.
Bone. So yeah,
Okay.
super basic, right? But you could add some flair to that, make it a little more complicated, possibly throw some danger in there, make you run it stealthy. I don't know. These kind of little missions are what going to make outposts and stuff pop off a bit more. The new multi-tool? What was he using? That might have been the military multi-tool. Yeah, that's the military one. Probably get that for completing Squadron 42 or something. Narrative. May kicked off with a flurry of activity for the narrative team. As part of the scoping of responsibilities for Star Citizen 1.0, they looked into taking a larger role in the oversight and maintenance of the social AI in the universe. This includes reviewing and adjusting existing civilian behaviors so the personalities of the various locations and landing zones come through. The team is also prototyping new behavior types that will appear throughout some upcoming locations as well as previously established ones. This led to initiatives to develop vertical slices of social spaces to test out a variety of larger scale mechanics such as day-night schedules, updates to the vendor and bartender behavior, and some mission providers in a contained space to make sure they're providing the desired content before expanding. Mission givers coming back. Mission givers coming back. Yeah, that's good. I'm happy to hear it. Narrative team really only started to get more involved in the actual game last year, and we can kind of start seeing that coming through with like the branding stuff that they're tightening up. But it's still so lacking in the game. Most cities seem pretty much the same as far as the people go, just different clothes and different surroundings. It'll be nice to finally get to go to Hurston and be surrounded by gangs and be like, yo, this place hard. The dream of living and working on a refinery station as an engineering day job and taking your Aurora out for the weekend. Your Aurora? That's what you're going on your joyrides with? Hey, Drazen, how you doing? You thought Eli only makes missions that don't work? If it's an Aurora LX, oh, fancy guy. Let's see. Okay. This led to initiatives to develop vertical slices of social spaces. No, we read that. As part of 1.0 development, further work was done on the location stories for the major landing zones. With team members working with design to tailor the story of the gameplay, these missions will provide exciting opportunities for players to embark on adventures that embellish local storylines. That's pretty sick. Actual storylines that focus on the planet you're on. I wonder if they could do that for every landing zone. That would be incredible if you had a mission chain for each landing zone outside of mission givers. Hey, I'm not ship shaming, man. You could fly whatever you want on the weekends. I'm just saying. It's an Aurora. Stays out of debt with the Aurora. It's true. It's true. Good call. You don't gotta make hefty payments on an Aurora. Toes. Knots Jr. 11 months. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you for the support. Twitch is popping off today. Y'all are lovely. Hey, Jungle Juice, why are you being so negative, man? Kind of like what Star Wars Old the Republic. What did they do in the Old Republic? Oh, the storylines, right? Yeah, that's a good call. It's a good way to do it. Flying your Aurora is like flying your Model T 100 years old. Dude, it's vintage. Everybody gathers around and talks about the ship like they knew them from back in the day. You hope with mission givers we aren't left with several people surrounding an NPC breaking immersion. Honestly, I used to wonder how they were going to handle that. Now I'm pretty certain they're going to just instance mission givers. Which is a bummer, but it's better than having giant lines of people at every mission giver trying to get missions. Okay, the team also continued to support upcoming patches by providing narrative content for some of the upcoming mission modules, providing additional in-fiction names and descriptions to items, and working with the core gameplay teams on future mechanics. That's very ambiguous. Online technology. In May, the online services team focused on wrapping up the social services backend refactor, which will improve the performance and scalability of social features, including chat, friends, and groups. I know we have groups in game already, but can I read a little bit more into that and believe that they're working on more group integrating features? They did say that they were working on an org app. If the friends list stopped lagging, I would already be blessing up. But if they included some org tools, I might fall out of my chair. That'd be great. It will also allow the service to handle more concurrent users and requests and help the team to add new features more easily in the future. Man, I'm okay. Just checking in on me. The team also spent a significant amount of time helping to stabilize Alpha 323 by triaging issues and bug fixing, including 12 critical and 24 major bugs. Thank you guys for the blessings. Just add the block and ignore the chat, please. And report. Let us report players in the game. The fact that Star Citizen, as an alpha game in development, where they specifically are asking us to call out the glitches and you can't report glitches or bad people from inside the game, is very frustrating. Like, we need to get away from going to the website to do everything. Using Spectrum, finding out about activities that are going on in game, finding a guide for yourself in the game. Hell, it used to be adding somebody as a friend even in the game was easier on Spectrum, but like these kinds of things would be great to start doing in the game as opposed to going to the website or clicking a button that takes me to the website. R&D. Oh, I'm sorry. Still got additionally, Online Technology began working on potential 4.0 release features such as the mission system refactor. Good. The marker system refactor. Oh. Maybe that's not a visual refactor because they just redid the markers. This must be more about the backend, how it works when it's in a different server, that kind of thing. And the player trade feature. The player trade feature is a big deal though. Because, like, we can't trade together as players yet. That would be so nice to... I think they said they're working on an app, to basically have an app where you just click something and that person can receive it from you. Basic functionality. R&D. The R&D teams... The R&D team's support for Alpha 323 continued throughout May. For volumetric cloud rendering, stochastic catmull ROM texture filtering, what the freaking what? Stochastic catmull ROM texture filtering was implemented for the new half-res render mode upsampler. What is that sentence? For volumetric cloud rendering, stochastic catmull ROM texture filtering was implemented for the new half-res render mode upsampler. Clouds are getting better. The number of ray marching steps now also scales with scene depth to improve performance in scenes with near-distance occluders. Occluders. Not gonna lie, the clouds in the game look incredible now. I'm so freaking pleased with how the clouds are looking. It's still not quite up to CitizenCon 2022. And I think a big part of that is weather. Hey, that's me. What the heck? I think a big part of that is weather.
My favorite.
Ooh, boy. Wait, no, I'm thinking 2021, not 22. Here we go. So this is another level of cloud
breathable
still.
atmosphere, but it's still pretty inhospitable.
But they're getting there. The update they did that we saw in ArcWarp last year started to add these like cloud towers. So there's a lot more verticality in clouds. You get these like raised platforms, but you still don't quite have the layers of clouds. And you don't have the weather effects that we're going to see here. So I'm going to show you what where they're headed. I think this is like their goal for clouds, and they're getting close, but they're not quite there. Check this out.
Very cold. As you can see, some of those lightning strikes in the clouds, but yeah, very, very pretty looking.
So this is the first time we're actually seeing clouds above a terrestrial planet. You know, we went through quite a few iterations of forms. What we ultimately ended upon was something that felt quite dramatic, still believable.
Yeah, for the record, this has more fuzzies around the edges. They've really cleaned that up over the last, I guess, just this last update.
In terms of how the wind would have shaped them. But yeah, like it's showcasing a lot of the more recent tech that came online. Also, what we're seeing here is like some kind of distant thunder strikes. And what this is, it's kind of like a prelude to, you know, future weather features that will be coming on board, you know, and how this will tie into, you know, storms and ship handling, you know, due to the turbulence. And it's great seeing the, you know, the rain hit the canopy glass here, you know, when you go through these cloud banks. Also, as part of the process of shaping, one of the things we really wanted to do is create these kind of like these pockets in between the clouds. So you're in these cavities, so as you're flying through, you get a glimpse of the terrain beneath you. But you know, it feels really quite exhilarating, you know, to fly through. Also as well, like it's showcasing a lot of the more recent tech coming on board as well. So you know, it's a lot of optimizations been going on. So it's way more performance.
See, this is crazy. I don't think you really get this kind of experience also, like just yet, flying through like that. But like I said, they're getting there. And as you guys have pointed out, the clouds look better in some ways than it did in that video. So I'm looking forward to what else they do with it, because the rendering team has been going nuts. I love it. Okay, where else are we? What else have we done? Moreover, progress continued on the temporal render node. All confidence metrics and transmittance filtering received further tweaks and improvements. A first draft of the code was submitted for internal use. Yes. Tech design supported multiple areas of development for upcoming release patches, including resolving bugs related to creatures, interactables, cargo hangars, and item banks. Cargo hangars and item banks, weapons, and performance issues. Additionally, the team were involved in a variety of initiatives for gameplay-related systems, internal tools, and workflows. For example, they added the ability for mission designers to change AI pilot skill levels depending on the mission, affecting their accuracy. They also outlined design requirements for the transit system refactor and code syncing for the design team. Tech design spent time setting up test levels, harvestables, and the spawning system for upcoming creatures, and began work on interaction improvements for kiosk screens. Work continued on new location distribution tool, with May's work involving designing the initial rule set for location placements and improvements to workflow and aligning with other teams on the next steps. The technical stuff just doesn't get it as much as features. Progress was also made on internal scripting tools, with the team syncing with coders on solid workflows to help the designers improve the user experience. Man, guys, most of my life I have not had a mustache, but holy crap, when this thing's hairs get excited and like humid, they start going in the wrong direction and it keeps tickling my nose and it's driving me nuts. Stop, get away from my nose. Mustaches, yo. UI. The Montreal-based UI team worked on a variety of mandates in May, including tasks for cargo, ensuring all visual elements were polished and any bugs were thoroughly fixed. They also collaborated closely with the core gameplay pillar on the resource network and jump points. Meanwhile, the UK team continued updating the heads-up display across multiple ships to improve their functionality and aesthetics. Thank you very much. Resource network and jump points and the HUD all at once. And then Warren over here gifting out a sub, getting us started for memberships on YouTube today. Thank you for the support, friend. Thank you very much. That soundbite is not lying. We appreciate you. Whoever got that, Swinth, welcome to the membership. You've got some exclusive videos to check out. Yeah. Give him a shout out. Give Warren a thanks. Honestly, everybody in chat should be saying thanks to people if they do a sub or a membership. That literally is what keeps the channel going. You're helping the whole community. That sounds a little up my own. You get what I mean, though. Keeping the garden. VFX. Like other teams, the VFX team put the finishing touches on their work for the Alpha 3.23 patch, fixing last-minute bugs and polishing effects where safe to do so. VFX also completed effects passes on several new vehicles, including for thrusters and damage. Work also began on jump point effects. These have existed as prototypes for a while, but the team focused on getting the effects fully functional, working closely with the VFX programmers and the feature team. I want to go back to one of the videos we were just watching, CitizenCon 2019. See if was it on this tab? I don't think it was on this tab. No, but almost. Thanks to people who do things. It's good style, Echo. Disappear for 1 year and get a goatee. What facial hair will I deserve for 4.0? I'm thinking some... What are these? Sideburns? Let's just go, though. I'll just cover my whole face in hair. Why not? All right, so here are the first look we had in terms of VFX when it comes to jump points. This is just for reference so that whenever they do show jump point VFX sometime in the next quarter, you guys have something to compare to. Check this out.
Of us going in and mining that. And then it
Mutton
affecting
chops, right?
Your radar, it being booby trapped, all these kind of gameplay possibilities, I feel open up with these unique points of interest.
Do you guys think we should open it?
Yes.
I think we should go.
Yeah.
Let's do it. That's actually a super cool view. See that one? How good that is. That looks awesome. Okay.
So I'm not crazy about these visuals. Like, the overall idea of it, yeah, but it feels like I'm looking at the inside of a melted plastic tube.
You don't really have much you have lateral control,
But it's being on a current.
You're being pushed on a current,
Yeah.
and you've got to keep.
They're not going to use
inside,
physical gates, no.
The boundaries of the wormhole, and actually, if Sam gets a little close, you'll sort of see interference on his screens. And of course,
To be honest, the way they talk about these in lore, I'm expecting them. I'm actually hoping if these are scary. Yes, this is meant to be an amazing experience, but it also seems like it should be a little nerve-wracking. Like the area you're seeing as you go past, this is an almost other dimensional experience, right? We should be absolutely mind flayed by going through this jump point. So I'm hoping that they're gonna really bring out the SFX and the VFX for this and make it feel, maybe for the less traveled a jump point is, the more intense the experience, right? Not many people go here. It feels like you are walking through a dark abandoned forest, whereas you're going between Stanton and Terra, it feels like you're on a highway. I hope that they put some decent effort into making these feel unique, because they're putting so much into making sure this is part of the game when it could just be a loading segment. Like, it does not have to be a playable part of the game, but they're going really hard with that. So I hope that they, either go 100 or don't go at all.
Para's coming in here. Yeah, and you can see there's actually a current that we put in the wormholes, and you sort of see the particles that are giving you the idea where the centerline current is. And you have to anticipate to keep on the course, because if you don't, and you go off and you go into the boundaries of the wormhole, you could end up just being spat out in just space in the middle of nowhere, or severely damaged.
Also, this feels a little bit long too. Like maybe just like a minute, 30 seconds to a minute inside.
Go around, Glenn. Okay,
So yeah, this is all like very fake, and technically that's supposed to be the first jump point we've ever seen, the first jump we've ever seen, but I'm thinking it's going to look a lot different now when we do see it. Already from the Star Engine demo, you could see they kind of have a different idea. Actually, that's what we can do. Let's reference the Star Engine demo to get a sense of what the vibe is that they're trying to set for a jump gate or a jump point. Because while this isn't exactly what the game looks like, you can see here, these are the new styles they're going for. We just watched Quantum Travel earlier in the monthly report. And it looks similar to this, not exactly the same. So maybe we can surmise that the jump point also might look a little similar to what they show us here. Let's see what it looks like. So it's like very similar in construction, but the coloring is definitely a lot different. I don't know. We don't know what it's going to look like. We'll see. Imagine the jump point was actually that close to the space station. All right. That's enough watching pretty things. We just, it's the end of the monthly report. You got to keep it a little bit better, because it's rather dry towards the end. Okay, web platform. The web platform teams concentrated on preparing for the anticipated traffic surges during Invictus launch week. To support Alpha 323 and ILW, they established a special support process to ensure prompt incident response. Okay. The system service team also planned and tested the platform's automated scaling schedule to handle the expected traffic waves effectively. The web platform team says, this Invictus marked the first major traffic event since we transitioned our infrastructure to Kubernetes, and it was a great success. It provided an excellent opportunity to enhance our platform's observability and alerting systems. Despite hitting record traffic levels during the event, we experienced no performance issues. I wish we could say the same. No, this was a decent Invictus launch week. I'm pretty sure it's the best performing launch week I've seen. I've still flashbacks to that first one. Yeah, I think they did a good job with this one, at least in terms of stability. I didn't get into the game too often, but like from what I saw of people playing it, it's pretty solid. Sounds like it really got worse after Invictus launch week. When do we do with the wormhole aliens? Wormhole aliens? Space worm aliens? May saw the launcher team focus on focus on version 2.0.1. This is currently in development and will be released in the coming weeks. The team have been working hard to address issues with authentication, error handling, and other bugs that were reported in the launcher 2.0. These improvements will result in a more stable and reliable experience for users. We like a stable launcher. That's like step one. Some of the key elements of the next version are improved error handling and more intuitive UI with better performance. Issues involved expired sessions and 3001 and 2000 errors were fixed too. Workarounds and troubleshooting guides were also added to the RSI knowledge base. And then the monthly report just kind of ends. Like it. I feel like I should just end the video there without saying anything, because it's such an abrupt ending. Like I felt like I was in the middle of a thought, but that's it. That's the May monthly report, and I think it's a freaking juicy one. This is, in my opinion, this is the most information we've gotten from a monthly report this year. We've gotten some good ones this year, but this one it's 4.0 focused, which means a lot of long-running features that we've been questioning or haven't even really known much about are starting to be not just focused on, but like dialed in. Charge and drain kind of stuff. Horde mode. What? Resource management stuff at outposts and in cities. Radiation damage. Freight elevators. Mission givers coming back. Narrative team getting stuck in. There's good stuff. I like it. So, yeah. Yeah. 4.0 is sounding fun. There's definitely a lot more that they're going to include on the roadmap. Warren! Thank you very much. What? Bruh. Dude came back and gifted out 5 more memberships. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Oh, Jaybird got a membership, yo. You know what I love is when people get gifted a membership and then we see them on the podcast that week. Anybody who just got one, you can join us live for the podcast as it's happening. Tomorrow, we will be having our podcast at about 1:30 UTC. Right in the Discord, you'll see the announcement and everything. Please come join us. Ask some questions, make some comments, crack a joke. We like to reference them a little bit during the show. Thank you very much. But yeah, looking at the release view of this update, I think we've got some things to add here. Definitely, I think the main thing that I suspect they'll add in this that we're not seeing is quantum travel. The quantum travel rework. What else might we see? Radar and scanning we might see. FPS radar and scanning. And you know what? Let's go back to that 12 months page I had up. What other features are here that we haven't seen? Blood, sweat, and tears, base building, crafting, cargo diversification. Ooh, 3.23.2. Fire hazard, that's coming 4.0. Fire extinguisher, 4.0. Just puts 4. Global illumination. Did we just get that in 3.23? Land claims, no. Maelstrom, no. Skill system sliding. Dang, a lot of the stuff from CitizenCon last year is already there. The zero-G traversal stuff we'll need to get. No GI yet? Okay. Scanning update is another big one, but there's not that many big features from CitizenCon that they could still surprise us with now that we're getting the cargo stuff. They will be doing more master mode stuff for sure. Honestly, they've got a very good, like they're already doing pretty well in terms of features released this year, but it is being hampered by stability. But yeah, all of these engineering gameplay will be a big one. Guess that's a 4.0 now. Yeah, I think there'll be a couple things added. What might be removed if things don't go as planned? Things that are separate from server meshing and pyro would be the most risky. So jump points, colonialism, space stations, these planets, Kazi Grazer, I expect all that in. Fire hazard and engineering, I think that's fairly confident, but they do have to get through all the ships on engineering, so we'll see. Life support comes with engineering, so that would be packaged, in my opinion. Solar burst comes with pyro. The Zeus, you know, they don't really miss on ships. They know what they're doing. MFD reworks and new displays, maybe. We could see that get pushed. But the UI team has been pretty on top of things, and this is a squadron feature coming through, so it's mainly seeing polishing for this, as well as some functionality stuff. I think charge and drain probably has the biggest chance of slipping out of anything else. Of all the features in the release view right now, this one is the least connected to 4.0. But I'm not gonna lie, guys, this list of features isn't one I expect to see many things delay from. I felt the same about 323, and we did not see that many things leave 323. Obviously, we saw the biggest things for some people, but I'm pretty sure they got, I think, 78% or 83% of the features they initially announced were in the patch. And then they also added new features on top of that. I expect 4.0 to be kind of the same. Fire isn't going to be on every ship to start. That might be the case, but engineering will be in every ship. Can't wait for details on scanning. Oh, that's another one that we might see added to the release view. Scanning and radar. Yeah. Still ought to get cargo by the end of the summer. Oh, I think we'll have cargo within like a month. Trying to put out desynced fire. You would turn into the fire. You think PES is still an issue? Someone glitched through an elevator and saw tons of items laying around the wall. You got found out, CIG. You're just hiding. They're just doing the old push all the mess into the closet instead of actually cleaning their bedroom. Yeah, PES is rough. Hopefully they figure it out. Other manufacturers getting base building ships. Hopefully we see something base building related for 4.0, but I don't expect it. I think that would be an incredible cherry on top of an amazing patch already. And it would probably be one of the biggest mic drops they could do for 4.0 to introduce base building at a time like that when we're getting into pyro. That'd be great. But before they get to that, they really need to make sure that we can refuel. Fix refueling for pyro. Because guys, that's why you said we were getting refueling. So we'll keep a close eye on that over this month and next month, and maybe we'll do a deep dive on that feature itself. 4.1 maybe. Honestly, base building by the end of the year, in my opinion, would be a huge win. I don't expect it for 4.0 or even 4.1, but something, anything. Putting up a campfire, that'd be cool. Hey, I thought crafting was a little too early too. And then look at them. I don't think they'll let us build full-on bases, but maybe a little hut or something. What's up, Bark? Good to see you. Economy before base building, please. Biggest mic drop would be a working quantum-based economy. Hey, that'd be awesome. But again, I don't mean base building in terms of like we're creating huge outposts or anything like that. I think that the first version of base building would be something very simple. Like a small item that would go on the ground and it could just be sitting on the ground representing a location, not necessarily the ability to start putting down walls and garages and things like that. We can make crafting. That's not. We can make multi-tools. That's not crafting. But that's where that's what I'm talking about as being the level for base building. Something that is not quite the feature, but allows you to experience the functionality of it. You're not really doing anything. You're just pressing a button because you have a certain amount of resources and that button makes something. And I'm saying the base building we might see in 4.0 could be something similar to that. They've been silent on the cargo update all week, and Jared said if we don't mention it, you can, whoop. You can assume it's not in development. Wait, what? As in, you think it's not in development? Why would you build these small outposts when nearly every ship has a bed to log out? Resources. They're going to have... I'll show you this real quick. They actually have a whole panel on it if you want to check this out. But they talk in general about you're going to be manufacturing with these locations. You're going to be mining and getting resources out of the ground. You can use them as storehouses or as facilities like distribution centers or space stations. And you can decorate them to just be a place to spend time and visit.
So you've got, we want to make sure that nothing in regards to resource gathering is fully automated. A level of player engagement is always needed. So as Nick talked about before, there are different types of commodities, radioactive, perishable, etc. What you'll be doing is pulling out full containers. Then from there, it'll be repairing, or there's wear and tear associated with it, or even misfires like you saw in Thorsten's talk and Guillermo's talk yesterday. There's also upgrade paths for making them more efficient or resilient. Power generators. So with different types of power generators, there'll be some that are more cost-effective as well as...
That's quite enough. But yeah, when I say base building, this is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like something very, very simple. Whatever you're using this for right here, this little fabricator or whatever, that's all I mean. I'm not saying we're going to be going out in these gigantic ships and creating full-on bases or anything like that. But if that did happen this year, and again, when I say that, I mean the very small thing that is just a temporary thing. It's not a big base or anything like that. Just something that's very small to represent the technology itself. If that came this year, I think that'd be pretty cool. There are more important things, and there could be more impressive things, but that'd be an awesome twist. To be honest, though, Huffreys, that's a really good point. Seeing the underground part of the underground facilities would be a solid update to 4.0. And then economy updates. A little wish list there. But that's it for me, folks. Thank you for coming and joining me for this monthly report. I'm going to sign off and go eat some dinner because I'm hungry. And we're going to continue our move. I am so f***ing tired because we've just been lifting things and carrying them and lifting other things and carrying them back. We are almost done. We have come to the final few days and we hand the keys over on Monday for this place. So this room is the last room that we'll be going. We'll be moving this thing in a couple of days. And the next time you guys see me, no, the podcast will still be here and tomorrow's stream will still be here. After that, you're going to see me in a weird new spot, and I will be explaining that why next week. I promise. It's a bit of a story. But yeah, appreciate you all. Thank you so much for being here. Love you. You're great people. You're fantastic to talk to. I have the most awesome community. Y'all are very chill.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you very much.
Oh no! Ah, my camera!
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hey, what happened? Holy crap.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We're okay. That's wow.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Just to give you an idea of how not stable our whole studio is anymore, that's not supposed to happen. That just completely dove.
Thank you. Thank
Just
you
got
very
5 subs, I think, from Which Space, dude. Thank you. Just as I'm talking about how cool you all are. Thanks for propping up YouTube on the way out, man. Appreciate you. And again, y'all, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Oh, they got a new raid system going on here. Look at that. Yeah, I appreciate y'all. You're good people, and I can't wait to be back here next time. I will be in a tournament tomorrow, so if you want to come and watch me kind of try and fight other people, and I think we could do a pretty good job with it. I think I'm going to be okay at it. I'm joining Zero State and Doyer the Destroyer in Avenger Ones and Atmo Esports little Master Modes tournament tomorrow. Y'all know how I fight, so I'm sure you can imagine it's going to be good fun to watch. I'll see you all there, though. Thank you for coming again. Have a wonderful day. Eat something you love, hug someone you love, and bless up. See you tomorrow. Bye.